So, if you're hardcore into power sports audio, then you surely have seen some of these bikes with colorful baskets as speakers. We're talking, of course, about Ground Zero, the company that claims they don't really do power sports audio. Well, I'll tell you what, the cult following says otherwise. Today, we've got their power sports manager, Andy Smith, joining us. We're going to do a deeper dive into exactly which driver is best used for which situation. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about Ground Zero. And it starts now. Hey guys, welcome to another CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Today we are talking power sports with Ground Zero, legendary brand from around the globe that's really found an amazing following within this segment. Today we've got our product expert, Andy Smith, joining us. Andy, what are we going to be talking about in today's Connected?
Hey, Ben, thanks for having me today. I greatly appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about what everybody seems to think of all the different colors and what they mean from Ground Zero Audio, where they fit in, and what they're used for.
All right, Andy, happy to get into some color decoding with you today. But first, a quick message from our partner, SiriusXM, reminding you why it's always a great attachment sale. And when we come back, let's get into some color coding with Andy Smith from Ground Zero. We'll be right back.
Hey, Paul here with SiriusXM, and I'd like to talk to you about attachment selling and why the SiriusXM product is one of the best things to add, especially since we don't trade dollars with any other category. I could go through all of this, but let's hear what some of our dealers have to say.
It's an easy add-on that takes, 10, 15 minutes if we're running an antenna, 1 minute if we've got an adapter to plug it into the factory SiriusXM antenna, and it's extra money, so no brainer.
I present it to every customer because a lot of customers don't know what all they can do with Sirius. They don't know what all content they could have. It just makes too much sense not to sell it.
It creates a different customer loyalty and customer security when you explain to them why it's a better experience. Just gets them back in the door. And then the next car, they're already asking for it again. So it just keeps selling itself. It makes more sense.
Well, there you have it. You heard from our dealers. Just remember some of the best practices. Make sure you have one on display so you can demo it. Make sure you're taking advantage of our rewards program, because if you're not taking advantage of that, you're leaving even more money on the table. Make sure you got our POP up on display. And other than that, just make sure you're recommending it.
Hey, Andy, welcome to the show. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. How about you, Ben?
I'm doing fantastic. And you know what? When we were planning for the show, I said, Andy, this is going to be a show that people are going to really want to listen to because, look, let's be straight up here. I've heard a lot of your different bikes at shows. I think the following is definitely out there. But sometimes when people are looking at the product line, they're wondering, where do I start? What do I need? The different components that are available? Because let's be honest, Ground Zero definitely has a stout catalog.
Oh, we have a huge catalog. And a lot of people don't really understand what each thing is meant for or what we designed it for, what we can use it for. That's why we're here today, chat with you about it.
Well, what I love about having you here, Andy, because you yourself are a builder. You build these systems day in, day out. You have a shop. So you've played with pretty much every configuration imaginable at this point. So are we going to really break it down into some simple steps that people can really follow along to?
Oh, we're sure going to try. I mean, simple is different to each person. So we're going to try and make it as easy for everybody as possible while we go through all of this. All right, man, I figured we may as well just start with the GZCF line. It's going to give us a good view of all of the colors that everybody's come to know from Ground Zero. So we'll start with GZCF 6.5 SPL. Ferrite magnet, yellow basket that everybody seems to know, right? So the yellow basket, what everybody's figuring out is the yellow baskets are the speakers that play the lowest frequencies, okay? This 6.5 coaxial will play from about 55 hertz to 20,000 hertz. That's where we start. Power handling isn't quite as high as some of the other ones that we'll get into here in a second, but for a straight two-way speaker, this thing is phenomenal. Amazing range, volume, and clarity, right? So then what you jump into is, most people know these as the black basket. This one is the GZCF 8.0 XSPL Neo. The difference between the yellow and the black, obviously, you're going to see right away the color of the basket. The Neo magnet, still conventional style tweeter. This is a 28 millimeter tweeter. The other is a 25 millimeter tweeter. This will not play quite as low frequency wise However, it does give you a little bit more sensitivity, a little bit louder, and to me, the vocals stand out even more when we get into the black baskets. You want to step up one more round? We go to what? Hey, guess what? Everybody calls it a red basket. What you're going to run into on this one, this is the GZCF 200 Neo Pro. Obviously, you can tell it's a horn-loaded coaxial instead of just a conventional tweeter. The other difference is the power handling and the range that this thing plays. This one will play from about 120 to 20,000, but the sensitivity is way higher. You get more punch, and again, takes more power. That's where we start with the colors.
You know, the takeaway from that explanation there, Andy, is not only is it color coded, but I was thought to believe that this is kind of like a good, better, best situation. But what I've learned here based on your explanation is not so much good, better, best, but more as to application and what you're trying to achieve. And another hack that I just figured out is the GZCF nomenclature, F for full range, hence the coaxials. All right. So let's go from full range and let's get into the mid ranges, which is really critical in building that perfect signature sound that you're looking for. This range of speakers is called the GZCM, M for mid range. What can you tell us, Andy?
You are 100% accurate, Ben. The CF line is our full range. The M in GZCM is for mid range. We're going to start with the GZCM 8.0 SPL. This one might throw you off a little bit. We do have this one in two different colors. We have it in yellow or green. Me, I kind of like the green. That's why we have this one sitting here. But the mid-range is what we know, what everybody seems to know from us, not necessarily the full range as much. This specific speaker is obviously a ferrite magnet. A little bit cheaper in the price range, not necessarily going good, better, best, but this one starts out the mid-range and the sound signature out of this, hard to beat. What we do from this one, we go up to, again, the black basket, right? So same style scenario as the CF line, Neo magnet, a little bit more power handling. The one thing I didn't mention a minute ago is the black baskets are actually a 3-ohm speaker instead of a 4-ohm speaker, which means you're going to give them a little bit more power without even having to try. Me personally, I love the black baskets for the vocals that we get out of them. I haven't found a speaker that plays vocals quite like a black basket. Jump up one more line, we have red. Red is what people seem to think is the top of the line. Not necessarily. They all have their purpose, but the red is going to give you the most power handling and the highest sensitivity, not necessarily the most range.
Andy, I love how that throws you off from the yellow to the green. But yes, same ferrite magnet. I totally get you. If you're following along, this is probably the easiest explanation I've ever seen done. So thank you, Andy, for doing that. Now, there's one more category we're going to cover before we let you go. And that's kind of something that Ground Zero really is unique when it comes to the terminology here. It's called the GZCK, and K in this case stands for kick-woofer. I, for one, do not know what that means. So please explain that so that our listeners understand. And what model do you have that could really fill this role in a sound system?
Yeah, Ben, you're absolutely correct. A lot of people don't understand what we consider a kick-woofer. It's more or less what is known around the world, not just the US. Kick-woofer is what we all consider a mid-bass. So what we have is our GZCK line. This is usually the yellow basket that everybody seems to know. This thing is going to play the lowest frequencies, as a mid-bass should, but still give you amazing range. So we have these available in a 6.5, the 8-inch, which I have in my hand, as well as a 10-inch.
All right, Andy. So thank you for walking us through the full range line, the mid-range, and now a little bit on the kick-woofer. Here's some questions I have for you. When you're thinking about building a system and matching these components together, the first question I have is, does it matter if you're going between different ranges? For example, if I want to put coaxials up high and then I want to put a mid down low, do I have to stick to the same series?
No, you definitely don't have to stick to the same series. That's the fun part about our brand and our lines, right? What you're doing is you're trying to see what fits the best in the scenario and get you where you want to be. Maybe you're going to use a ferrite coaxial up top, but you want to use a Neo mid-range in the lower because it fits better. Neo magnet, smaller, a little more power handling. I'm going to get a little more volume out of that lower by using a Neo, but I'm going to get everything to fill in from the top using that ferrite full range.
See, I see what comes into play here. It could be budget. That could be one item. The other item could be, the ultimate system design goal that you're looking for, that final result, right? But the other thing that we have to talk about is fitment, because sometimes even though you want something, doesn't mean it fits. So therefore, maybe that Neo magnet is the answer because that's the only thing that would fit in there. So here's another question: will my system sound louder if I decide to go Neo all the way up, all the way through, rather?
So possibly it's all in how it's set up and how it's designed, right? Anything that anybody can ever teach you about speakers is airspace matters. Does actual mounting depth matter? Yes, it does. If you use all Neos, are you going to get a great sounding system? Very possibly. But it's what you use and how you pair them together to get exactly where you want to be.
Okay, my last final question for you, talking about that kick-woofer. So, um, I want to dispel any myth that this is a subwoofer. Like, we're not getting deep, deep frequencies with that midwoofer, but we're talking about that mid bass that kind of kicks you in the kidney, right?
Oh, absolutely. You are 100% accurate there. It is not a subwoofer. If you want a subwoofer, we have some amazing subwoofers as well. These things are going to play super low. They're going to give you that, look at it this way, kick drum, right? You're going to get that punch. You're going to get that range that way, but it's going to play up a little bit higher too. Subwoofer, what you're looking low 20s, mid 20s, mid 30s, 40s. You're going to cut them off probably around 70 or 80 hertz at most. Where our kick woofers, you're going to be able to play them up to 2,000 or 3,000 hertz if you want to, because they'll actually play it and sound good.
I'll tell you what, if anything I've learned today, and hopefully our audience is taking away, is that Ground Zero is providing all the options imaginable. And am I accurate to say that this might be the brand if you're into building custom systems?
Oh, absolutely. We have something for everybody, and we have something for every single application. You got questions on how to use it, we'll help you out.
All right, Andy, thanks for coming in today.
Hey, thanks for your time, Ben. Appreciate being here.
And that was Ground Zero's Andy Smith, custom bike builder and power sports genius. Yes, I said genius. Joining us today for another connected session. We really got a deep dive here on all the different series in the full range, in the mid range, and even in the kick-woofer. Hopefully you understand a little bit more. I know I do. Now, if you want some more information, details, specs, so on, make sure you check out the website, groundzerousa.com. My takeaway, I'm going to go ahead and echo what I just said to Andy at the end there. If you are a shop that wants to provide an amazing sound experience with that custom bespoke feel, man, look no further than Ground Zero. These guys have it nailed as far as having the components available for different applications, different mounting depths, different power handling, etc., to really be able to customize that perfect sound that your customer may be looking for. At the end of the day, it's strange to say that Ground Zero doesn't necessarily make power sports or motorcycle audio, but for whatever reason, they do damn good at it. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.